What's up everybody, it's your boy Plays here, back with some more YouTube reactions for you guys. So today we're checking out, will Grand Theft Auto 6 get a 40 FPS mode on PS5 Pro? Digital Foundry clips, of course. Before we get into this, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all of that good stuff. Socials in the description. Let's get into it. Full screen.
Salutations, lads! Exclamation point. I think everyone has accepted that GTA 6 will be 30 FPS on model consoles with better performance on next gen, whatever that looks like, and PC. But do you think that Rockstar would be interested in giving the PS5 Professional a 40 FPS VRR mode? I can't help but think that with the game now having been delayed by a full year, they've had time to explore every option. Cheers! Exclamation point. Well, that's an interesting point, right, John? Because Rockstar are going to be bringing out like this gigantically huge game, and the core audience, the majority of the audience, will be on the PlayStation 5 systems. Surely there's got to be some sort of arrangement between Rockstar and Sony to make sure that those versions are the best they could possibly be. The question is whether we're talking about 40 FPS VRR mode, which would essentially, it would have to be the 30 FPS version unlocked, possibly with some changes to resolution. Compelling or not?
Sure, absolutely compelling. And if Sony scores the marketing campaign for GTA 6, then it would make a lot of sense to have something in there to sort of push their version over the others, right?
Also regarding the 40 FPS argument, I've said it in previous videos. Apparently, Sony engineers are working with Rockstar to help optimize the game as best as possible. So it could be a possibility that we really do get a 40 FPS version for the PS4 Pro, like an enhanced setting, like how the PS4 Pro has enhanced frame rate or graphic settings. I can see it happening.
But whether it would be that or attempted 60 FPS, it's really hard to say. I mean, that's the thing when talking about something like GTA 6, it's such a mystery box.
Right? Yes.
Like if this was a big, say, Unreal Engine game, even if it was still very secretive, we could make more educated guesses about what it could do conceivably, right? But we just don't know anything about this current iteration of Rockstar's engine. I mean, sure, there might be some commonalities with GTA 5, but even though they've grafted a lot of new technology into GTA 5, it's still fundamentally a game from 2013, right?
Yep.
GTA 6 is something new. So we just don't know. We just don't know.
You can't draw any conclusions from Red Dead Redemption 2 either, just because the nature of the open world is entirely different.
It's so different. I mean, they could surprise us, and there's a 60 FPS in mode in there all along. Like, we genuinely have no idea what it's.
Obviously, I don't think the 5 isn't going to get it. Because Grand Theft Auto games always push the hardware to the max. And GTA 6 is definitely going to push the PS5 to the max. The Pro model PS5 has a significantly faster GPU, but then the CPU is like 10% faster than the PS5 CPU. So for it to be 60 FPS, it wouldn't just be on the graphical end, it would also be on the CPU end, like physics, AI, simulation. There isn't enough of a boost in CPU performance to have a lock 60, so I think 40 is the max we'll be seeing, but we'll see when the time comes. I don't think it's going to be 60 though on either system.
And we won't know until they decide to share that information. Given the visual quality though, I mean, I do think a 40 FPS mode would not be unreasonable. But
it
still,
depends on the CPU, the CPU side of things, because your
that's right.
Budget.
We don't know.
Yeah, your budget there.
I will say this though, if they can launch this game at a stable 30 FPS, which I do believe will happen based on Red Dead Redemption 2, this will be the smoothest launch of GTA in history.
Also, what he said about the CPU, yeah, I agree with him. The CPU, it's not enough, because a game like Grand Theft Auto 6 there's so much game logic, open world games in particular, but GTA games, CPUs being pushed to the max. there's likely not going to be much
Because
CPU
every
headroom.
other GTA game at launch ran poorly, flat out, right? Like that's, GTA 5 was a PS360 game at first. It was nowhere near a stable 30 FPS on those machines. GTA 4, same problem, very, very unstable. And then of course the PS2 era, same problem there. I mean, it just, PS1 era was maybe a little bit closer, but that's a very different kind of experience. But if GTA 6 is genuinely like a stable 30, that will already have been a big improvement for the launch edition of a big GTA game. So I'll take it.
What do you think, Oliver?
Well, I think like Rich mentioned, I think simulation is the key concern here because like the spec for all the current generation consoles is pretty similar, plus or minus 15%. They're basically all the same, including PS5 Pro, which only has a 10% clock boost in at least in one mode above the base PlayStation 5. That's not a huge improvement. That's less than the 33% improvement that you would need to get a stable 40 FPS versus a stable 30 FPS, assuming that you're simulation constrained, which I mean could very well be the case here. And we do know that the game will scale on the GPU to lower capability platforms because it's going to have to ship at 30 FPS on a Series S. So I'd venture that if PS5 Pro can do 40 FPS, I don't think there's a compelling reason to say that Series X or PS5 couldn't do 40 FPS with reduced visual settings. That seems like something that could occur here. But with PS5 Pro, I think the key question to me is not really the 40 FPS mode. It's just like, how does Rockstar set this game up? Are they going to use the next generation PSSR that we expect to be launched this year? Or are they going to stick with like TAA plus FSR1, which is what we suspect might be in the mix for current generation consoles based off?
FSR1? Nah, I don't think so. I feel like that's kind of old. I'm not as technically informed as these guys, but FSR1, what? FSR4 now? And I get that that's for PC. And I would think if there's any game that's going to get their PlayStation spectral resolution sampling, their own resolution upscaling technology, which is what PSSR is, I would think Grand Theft Auto 6 would be the main contender. It's definitely going to have some upscaling though. I think they're going to give it PSSR. I could be wrong. I don't know.
If they are using PSSR2 and it's as good as FSR4 and it's reasonably performant on the hardware, runs reasonably well, that seems like a much bigger deal to me. And it seems like they could probably set that up in any number of different ways, and the experience would be hugely improved over base PS5. I think that's kind of the area of interest here, and not so much like could they squeeze 40 out of it. I mean, that's kind of a question we don't know the answer to, but perhaps they could ship PSSR with this title.
Sort of nuclear option, Oliver, to go to 60. And we do have a precedent. Black Myth Wukong Fame Generation 30 to 60.
I don't think Rockstar would do that.
That sounds like kind of a miserable experience, to be honest. I hope Rockstar wouldn't do that. I think Rockstar is confident enough with their efforts, and they've shipped so many games in the past that have delivered such high visual fidelity. I think they're the one studio that could ship a 30 FPS only game, and people would be fine with it. Like they would understand it. The tremendous amount of visual accomplishment that's in that title, the incredible technical accomplishment that I'm sure it will represent, I think people would be fine if Rockstar just said this is a 30 FPS title.
Yeah. And I think even if they did have the hardware to run it at 60 on consoles, they probably would just wait for PC because you need some incentives on PC. But yeah, I don't think we're getting 60. Hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.